cubics, and you'll see how they work in very similar ways. So when we're solving a quadratic by taking a root, the first thing we want to do is isolate the squared part. Well, in number one, the only thing that's squared is x, so I need to get rid of the 12. How would I do that? Subtract 12. Okay, and when I do, I get x squared equals 36. And so once I've isolated the squared part, gotten it all by itself, then I can just take the square root of both sides. So like we mentioned just a moment ago, when we take a square root, we always get a positive and a negative. And this is a really nice problem because 36 is a perfect square. We don't even have to simplify a radical. We know the square root of 36 is? 6. That's right. So I get two answers, positive 6 or negative 6, plus or minus 6. Okay, so on number 2, this one's a cubic, but it works the same way. We want to isolate or get the cubed part by itself. How would we do that? Add 2, and then we have 27. Another very nice problem. We are real familiar with our perfect squares, but let's review our perfect cubes real quick. 1 cubed is 1, that's usually not very helpful. But 2 cubed, what is 2 cubed? 8. And what is 3 cubed? 27. And what is 4 cubed? 64. And what is 5 cubed? 125. And what is 6 cubed? Yes, you're right, 216. What is 7 cubed? 343. 8 cubed?
That's stretching it.
5. 12. Good. 9 cubed? 7. 29. Okay. All right. 10 cubed. Everybody knows this one. 10 cubed.
What is it? Wait, no one say anything. What is it?
A 1 with 3 zeros, right? 1,000. Powers of 10 is just a 1 with that many zeros behind.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, the smaller perfect cubes are what we're looking for our problems, not the larger ones. All right, so on this one, we're going to take a cubed root. Now, a cubed root of a positive number is positive because a positive times a positive times a positive makes a positive. A cubed root of a negative number is negative because a negative times a negative times a negative is negative. So with cubed roots, you only get one solution. Whereas with square roots, we had 2. All right, so here we get x equals, and what is the cube root of 27? 3. So 3 is the only answer that works. Okay, so example 3, back to what we did last year. Do you see we have the squared part by itself? All of this is being squared. So we're good. So all we have to do is take the square root. Now, this is an even root. And so when I take an even root, I always get a positive and a negative. When I take an odd root, whatever the sign of the number is the sign of my answer. So this is an even root, so I get plus or minus root 24. Can I simplify the square root of 24? Yes. What does it break down into?
Only when it's even.
Yes. So it's plus or minus 2 roots of 6. Correct, Maddie. We get 2 answers, positive and a negative, when we take an even root.
Why'd you write plus 6?
Okay, and when you take an odd root, you go to sign.
Sign it.
And then, okay.
Oh, it is 1. Okay, so to solve, we subtract the 1. And we do have 2 solutions. I wrote it simply with the plus or minus, but we really have negative 1 plus 2 roots of 6 and negative 1 minus 2 roots of 6. Do you see them? Those are my 2 answers. Now, this is a cubic equation, so I'm not going to get 2 answers. Okay, the left side is review from last year, so yeah, I do go a little faster.
I don't remember that. I don't think I learned it because I didn't learn anything.
So you subtracted from -2 and +2 to get 2 answers?
When you take the square root, you get plus or minus.
Right, so you're going to have 2 answers on that.
Yes.
Okay. Understood. Oh, you don't.
Did subtract.
So the negative one, you don't put it with the 2. You just.
You can't, because they're not like terms.
Okay.
We cannot combine things that are not like. Alright, so the cube part is already isolated. Everything over here is being cubed. So I can go straight to taking the cubed root. And when I do, I get x minus 5 equals, what is the cubed root of negative 64?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. So this time I only get one answer. And this does combine. These are like terms. X equals 1. I can add those together.
So that's because the 64 was negative. That's why there's only one answer.
No, because I'm taking an odd root.
You guys,
The only way to get a negative 64 is for the negative times a negative times a negative. There's only one possibility of cubing something and getting a negative. Okay, so last 2 examples. Once again, we have quadratic review from last year on the left, new cubic on the right. So our job is to isolate what's being squared first. So in this case, I have 2 things that need to go away. This needs to move, and that needs to move. So that I'm just left with the part that's being squared. What moves first?
So you try.
The 8.
Or add.
So we're going to add 8. That's right, Mary. So after we add 8, we divide both sides by 2. And so we get 3x plus 1 squared equals 4. So that's our goal every time. First thing, get the part that's squared or the part that's cubed by itself. Now once we get there, this is where we have to take the root. This time we're taking a square root. When it's an even root, it's positive or negative. You are correct. So this is kind of similar to our absolute value. All this stuff can equal positive 2, or all of this stuff can equal negative 2. And so I'm going to have to split it in order to completely solve. So we would subtract 1 here and divide by 3. We would subtract 1 here and divide by 3.
so it's kind of like in the,
Wait, wouldn't it be negative 1?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And positive 1/3. Oh, never mind. I thought that was a negative sign. It wasn't. No, sorry.
Whoa.
Alright, so the cubic works the exact same way. Except the nice part is when we take the root, we only get 1 answer. So we don't have to split a cubic. So we're going to do this. What moves if it works the same way? What goes first?
9.
The 9. So we're going to add 9. So when I add 9 and add 9, I get 48. Then what do I do? Divide by 3. Negative 3, excuse me. So we get x plus 2 cubed equals negative 16. Now what do I do?
Unsolvable.
Take the cube root of both sides.
Is there a cube root for 16?
There isn't. 16 wasn't one of those numbers, but 16 has a factor that is a perfect cube. What is a factor of 16? Very good. And I'm actually going to do negative 8. Okay? So whenever the number is negative and you're determining one of the perfect cube factors that goes into it, make that negative.
So the highest cube root.
Right. Just like with square roots when you're simplifying, it's the same with cube roots. You're looking for the largest cubed factor of the number.
So it would be -4 then?
So the cubed root of -8 is
-2.
-2.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, we're just
Oh,
looking
good.
at it right now.
Oh, cube.
Yep, we're just simplifying it right now.
Root 2?
Okay,
Oh,
so
you
this
have
is
to have a
-2
cubic
cube root of 2.
It doesn't, we're not gonna imply that we just can't do negatives or.
We can always take a cube root of a negative, yes. Anytime there's a negative under here, your answer will have a negative out here. You would never leave a negative under a cubed root.
So it's going to be x equals.
So now we have to move this 2 back over. But we can't combine them.
So x equals -2 minus 2 cubed root 2.
Yep, that's my answer.
So you have to have that cube sign or else it's wrong.
That is the right idea right there.
Alright.
You must have the cube root of 2. Yes, ma'am.
Why can't you combine the -2 with the other -2?
Okay, because these two are multiplied to each other, so they're kind of like a pair, like 2x.
Okay.
So if we had
so change
2
the
minus
root.
2x, we couldn't do anything. So same thing here.
Alright. Thank you.
Alright, so your homework is a little half sheet. Some are quadratics, review from last year. Some are cubics, new stuff. But you have 6 examples to go back and look at for models on how to solve this.